shocking details have emerged about the terrorist attack in Sydney. Just a few hours before the bloody attack against Jews in Australia, a veiled call for violence was made from Mecca in Saudi Arabia, which allegedly became the signal for the terrorists. Such shocking information came to light a day after the terrible terrorist attack on the beach in Sydney. The Jewish community insists that Australia's leader, Albanese, was even warned by Mossad that the beach needed increased security on Hanukkah, but the Australian authorities allegedly ignored the warning. As a result, Australia experienced the deadliest mass killing in nearly 30 years with Jewish families as the victims. On Bondi Beach in Sydney, one of the country's most iconic locations, crowds gathered on one of the most festive days to celebrate Hanukkah. And everything was fine until an hour before sunset, when two armed men, who turned out to be a father and son, opened fire from a bridge at people relaxing on the beach. In this episode, we'll break down new details about the terrorist attack in Sydney and discuss what many people are avoiding. I'm Alexi Pichi. Let's discuss this topic in detail. But before we start this episode, I ask you to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and leave any comment under this episode. Subscribe to my Telegram channel, Pichi News. The link is in this video's description. There we post breaking news as soon as it comes in. So, on Sunday, two armed men opened fire during a Hanukkah celebration at the famous Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. At least 15 died and 60 were injured. The authorities have declared this a terrorist act targeting the Jewish community. The attack, which left dozens injured in Australia's most densely populated city, comes amid a surge of anti-Semitic violence that has alarmed Jewish communities around the world. This is the deadliest attack in the country since the Port Arthur massacre in 1996, which prompted the then Conservative government to enact strict gun control laws. And now, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Monday pledged to tighten this legislation even further. We'll return to Albanese later. So what happened? So, judging by the videos online, which I won't show here due to the sensitivity of the content, for about 20 minutes, two armed men opened fire on people celebrating Hanukkah, shooting men, women, and children while terrified guests ran for cover. The attackers turned out to be two Muslims, Sajid Akram and his son Navid. According to the police, the men had 6 firearms and several homemade explosive devices. The father was a registered firearm owner and was even a member of the local shooting club. Together with his son, they lived in a rented apartment in Sydney. And here's something interesting. In October 2019, Australian intelligence checked the son for connections with an Islamic State of Iraq and Syria terrorist. But at that time, they considered him to be no longer a threat. Why no longer? Right here? It's an interesting point. If you noticed, I said he was already considered safe. That's the mystery, because the Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese, stated that in 2019, after the investigation, intelligence came to the conclusion, and I quote, "Well, it sounds like there was a threat, but it has passed and is no longer ongoing." So, two men left homemade explosive devices in a car near Bondi Beach on Sunday evening, and then headed towards the beach. The video footage later shows two figures dressed in black on the concrete bridge leading to the beach. In videos taken by eyewitnesses, both men can be seen firing large-caliber firearms from that height toward the site of the Hanukkah event. Footage from a camera installed on the beach shows dozens of people running across the Bondi sand, fleeing from the gunfire. The third video shows the alleged older shooter leaving the bridge and ending up near the celebration site. And notably, at this stage, it wasn't the police, but an ordinary civilian who neutralized the first shooter. In the cell phone footage, you can see a man, identified by local media as Sydney resident Ahmed Al-Ahmed, hiding behind a nearby parked car. And so, as the older shooter continues firing, Ahmed jumps out from behind the car, attacks him from behind, wrestles the weapon out of his hands, and points it at him, causing the shooter to retreat. In the end, Ahmed was shot twice and was hospitalized. daughter.
Oh! Samaria?
Oh, damn.
Damn. Zamarian.
This guy's really pointless. Oh.
Later in the drone footage, you can see the senior shooter back on the concrete bridge, lying face down while the junior shooter moves back and forth and then suddenly falls. In the sixth video, you can see 3 police officers running onto the bridge with their weapons drawn. In the footage, you can see that there are at least 9 police officers on the bridge holding the shooters, and the senior shooter ends up dying at the scene.
Hey, he's dead, please help, he's dead, damn.
Him,
I'm trying, brother, I'm trying.
And now let's go back to the moment when Prime Minister Anthony Albanese stated that Australian intelligence checked the younger shooter in 2019 for his ties to Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. So, today the Australian police reported that they found an Islamic State of Iraq and Syria flag in the car of the father and son who carried out the terrorist attack. Draw your own conclusions, as they say. But that's not all for now. Israeli media remind us that last Friday, during the Friday prayers in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, the well-known preacher Saleh bin Hamid, whose words are broadcast to the entire Muslim world, made an inciting statement about Jews. Bin Hamid mentioned the situation in the Gaza Strip after the war, the condition of Gaza residents and their families, blaming Israel for the situation, and said, God punish the Jews and bring punishment upon them. 2 days after this statement, terrorists in Sydney opened fire on Jews, and now Israel is linking the attack to bin Hamid's calls. And now the leaders of the Jewish community in Australia remind us that just last year, 1,654 cases of anti-Semitic attacks were recorded in Australia, so such an attack was supposedly only a matter of time. Today, Australian Prime Minister Albanese listed the measures taken to protect Jews. These included millions of dollars spent on projects to strengthen social cohesion, as well as the modernization of Jewish museums and educational centers. According to him, university programs are also being reviewed to ensure inclusivity for Jewish students and staff. But the Albanese government is trying to strike a balance, because along with appointing a commissioner to combat anti-Semitism, it has also appointed a commissioner to combat Islamophobia, in order to prevent retaliation against the Palestinian community and its supporters. But it's clear that Australia, unfortunately, has not been able to protect Jews, and that's why there's still a lot of work ahead to ensure the safety of everyone living in this country. I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments below this episode. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell if you found this episode interesting or learned something useful. You can support our work with a donation or by becoming a paid sponsor of this YouTube channel. All the details and links are in the description of this video, where it says support the Alexei Pechi channel. Choose any format that is convenient for you. Thank you for any opportunity and your support. That's all for now. Take care. Goodbye.